What is happening, traders? Today we're going into a pretty sexy topic, and that is the VRVP, baby, or the volume VRVP, volume range something profile. And the VRVP is something that you can use to help establish horizontal trends that are of significance, that have many, many touches and have so much resistance and support. And I want to explain to you guys, when I say POC, do you guys know what I'm talking about? When I say POC, I mean point of control. Oftentimes, you can see the point of control on these stocks, whether it's bullish, bearish, or all the in-between, right? Based on how you react to these long-term point of control or volume spikes within the chart, because you can see obviously you have the most volume on price where it trades the most, and you can use this to help establish trend lines that can help you for future price action, right? Because I was talking about the price and the point of control on GameStop being 25 to 26 on this chart well before we had this move above and then this retest that we're seeing right now. You can see where price is right now. You are retesting perfectly not only your point of control, but you're also retesting the golden cross that we just saw in the daily time frame. So a lot to love about this GameStop setup. And you could arguably say that you have a shoulder, head, right shoulder, looking to go higher into this territory here where you don't have as much volume traded. Because typically when you break above and you retest the highest volume node, it is likely that if you can see bull step in here, it gets a lot easier to travel in these slightly lower bars for price to accelerate, and you've seen that in the past, right? But then reject on your next larger bar, which just so happens to be our first price target, right, of 40 schmeckles, $40. And it makes sense because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be your sixth tap somewhere in this region of the high 30s and low 40s zone that you would see some kind of bearish step in right around this, and then you consolidate before potentially going to your goal target of the gap fill at $73. I mean, that would just be insane, right? But this is just one example. There's so many different examples of how you guys can use the VRVP to analyze a chart and see where you're at. Are you at critical levels? Are you about to do something special? A really, really good example of that is on our favorite girl, Amy. AMC has a beautiful example in which you established your VRVP. I believe this was around $12 pre-split, right? And so what I like to do, and this may help you guys with your own trading journey, but what I like to do is I like to take this horizontal line and I'll put it right on top of the VRVP. And what that does for me is that gives me, whoa, it didn't do it. Let me reload. Get out of here, TradingView. So what that does is it gives me multiple areas of support and resistance within, just want to make sure that's right on top, within the future price action, because you can see that this is a very important level. You rejected it back in March of 2021, came back up, broke above it, had to make a higher low here before breaking it and making an all-time high on the price. And you can see just how easily price moved within this because there was no resistance, guys. There was no previous trading to any significant matter that price was just able, as soon as you got above the point of control, to tear faces. And I mean, now you have a little bit more on the VRVP right in this area of the 293s. So that would be a potential turnaround location. Also right here at 160. So if you wanted to, you could totally just go and hash out these resistances and supports, and we'll revisit it in a little bit. But you can see how that's even acted on the interim, right? See, bounce perfectly, but I want to just turn this off, and I want to give you guys perspective of these two lines, how this has acted since the IPO all the way to the more recent runs that we may all remember, and that we may all remember, right? So you can see here, bounce, reject, bounce, 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 reject, bounce, reject. So this level of this $12 to $14 has already rang true. And then you came back here and you broke above it, closed below, broke above it, closed below, broke above it, closed below. And then finally you break it, right? And when you break it, you absolutely full send. And let's keep going. Let's go to the right. And let's see how this level is respected. And had you done this back in June or back in May of 2020, you could have caught the bottom from this sell-off. And many people say, how can I guess that, right? The VRVP is a very good way to see, let's say you broke down from this bull pennant, right? This macro bull pennant that I know everyone was looking at, broke down from that. Where can I find potential targets for this thing to go back to? And the answer doesn't always lie, but can lie in the VRVP, right? And so you can see you bounced here, and that led to your March squeeze of, what was this? Almost 200%, 166%. You got below it, rejected it, broke above it, got below it, rejected it, broke above it, bounced off of it, and then that was your August squeeze. So locating this VRVP has now given you 1, 2, 3 squeeze-like moves that you could have profited on, and potentially, right, if you're swinging options, you're swinging shares, I don't care. I'm not going to judge. But what does matter is that you guys have this indicator in your back pocket, right? That you guys learn what importance volume has for a stock, and locating this point of control can really, really help you guys in the future. But looking here, right, even when you dropped below it, you can see price came back up, you retested it, rejected, and that was your nasty double top. You then came back to test it again, rejected. And then it just never really has ever since. So it's something that very, very much interests me, and how this can tell a story between the bulls and the bears, the battle for the volume. And that's not just the only example, right? We went over GameStop. GameStop's a great example in which you're currently back testing your VRVP point of control. Now, how does this react, right? You can see you perfectly rejected it here, broke above, perfectly rejected it there, rejected, and then it was a base support and support here. So it's going to be very, very interesting, guys. As early as next week, we can use this point of control and this VRVP to really see what GameStop is about. Is it going to walk the walk? Are you going to bounce off the golden cross? Are you going to bounce off this point of control in the stock and show that the bulls are in fact in control? It's going to be something that I'm monitoring closely, so make sure to slap the subscribe button because I love and appreciate you all. Now, BlackBerry is something that we also talked about heavily in last week's videos. Me talking about how this is one of the most set stocks in terms of setup. I mean, you had a falling broadening wedge, you broke out of it, create a falling wedge, broke out of it, and now you have this inverse head and shoulders inside of a cup and handle and some kind of flag pattern. It feels like BlackBerry is just collecting the infinity stones of bullish reversal patterns, and the RSI is doing crazy things as well. But that's not what we're talking about here, right? We're talking about the VRVP, the volume profile of this stock on the macro. I have it on the weekly, zoomed all the way out. And I want to give you guys some contrast here that technical confluence is key for these potential locations in which you look to set as your price target, right? I have multiple or a multitude of reasons why I believe BlackBerry can go to $14. One of them is the price target from this flag and inverse head and shoulders brings you directly up to the 1, 2, 3, the all-time resistance line on BlackBerry's chart that has rejected you twice and could potentially reject you a third time. And this would be your macro resistance, just overall, right? You then put into multiple things, right? I believe it's your weekly 200 is up there from the 200-day EMA. And then your volume profile on the weekly time frame, you can see you rejected it here, bounced off of it after breaking above, and that led to your squeeze up to 153. Bounced and then rejected perfectly, came all the way down from 14 to $3. Squoze above it but couldn't hold. Squoze above it, couldn't hold. And now you look, and OL just so happens to match our price target of $14. I mean, you cannot make that up. And of course, that can get skewed by this being a little bit delayed or drawn out. But what matters to me is that all the stars are lining up here. For me, it makes sense that price would come back to its third tap in trend, its VRVP, and then its weighted exponential moving average. But this was just a quick summary. I hope you guys loved the video and found it informational. If you guys did, make sure to slap the subscribe button and tune in for the next video because we ain't going anywhere. And we're going to continue to hustle until we get to 1,000 subscribers, 10,000, 100,000. So make sure to join the journey now. I love and appreciate you all. God bless each and one of your families. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.